Okay, Sadhu. Hello, everyone. So we are here again today for our weekly sutta readings. So this is the fourth time we are still on the Mula Pariyaya Sutta, and it's been quite a few sessions, and it could probably already have been done if I could keep my mouth shut, but that's too much to ask, I guess. But reading a sutta is quite a difficult thing, and so it's important for us to put everything in context and sort of try and understand what each word means, and try to take things slowly. It's very important to take our time with the sutta so we don't jump to conclusions. It's very important in understanding the dhamma, in understanding the world, to not jump to conclusions straight away based on a quick perception we make. Sometimes we need to consider things, and we need to go back and revisit ideas and thoughts we have, and not take quick action because it may not always be the right thing. Sometimes decisive action is necessary, but in cases of the sutta, it's important for us to take our time. So I guess it's a good thing we are taking so long to finish this one sutta. So we'll start with the homage to the Lord Buddha. Namo Dassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay, so towards the root of all things. We finished with descriptions of the Asutavat Putajjanas, or the worldlings who are not practiced in the Dhamma. And now we are going on to see how a disciple in higher training would look at things. And it's important to know that this is a classification, but it's in no way implying a sort of a level or a greater or better how an individual is. We all start not knowing anything, and we built up over time our understanding. So it's similar in the Dhamma. The Sanya Vipallasa that I described before, that a worldling sees, it's based on craving, conceit, and forming views on this, and that's how they come to wrong conclusions. But the disciple in higher training, we will see, does not fall into that same trap. So to verse 27. Bhikkhus. A bhikkhu who is in higher training, whose mind has not yet reached the goal, and who is still aspiring to the supreme security from bondage, directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, he should not conceive himself as earth. He should not conceive himself in earth. He should not conceive himself apart from earth. He should not conceive earth to be mind. He should not delight in earth. Why is that? Because he must fully understand it, I say. So let's look at the footnotes for what is a bhikkhu who is in higher training. So this is aimed at bhikkhus. The Seka Pudgala, the disciple in higher training, is one who has reached any of the three lower planes of sanctity: stream entry, the Sotapatti; once returning, the Sakadagami, or non-returning, Anagami, but must still train further in order to reach the goal: Arahantship, the supreme security from bondage. The 53rd Sutta is devoted to expounding the training he must undertake. The Arahant is sometimes described as an Aseka, one beyond training, in the sense that he has completed the training of the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is what we need to understand, the idea of training. So you see now how the Buddhist path, the Buddha's teaching, is described as a training method. It is something that we all undertake in order to train ourselves. And it doesn't imply that someone is perfect. We are always training up to something, and we are all on this journey. And as the members of the Sangha, And as members of the Buddhist community, we are always here to help each other in our training. And sometimes we fail, and sometimes we succeed, but we are all in this together to help each other out to overcome the suffering of samsara. And a Sekapudgala is a disciple in higher training, so that's somebody who has achieved at least the stream entry. So that's someone who has defeated the idea of the self, the Sakya Ditti, the self view, the identifying with the aggregates and things like this, and but not yet an arahant, not yet awakened. So that's an aseka pudgal. That's a person who no longer needs the training because the morality is established in such a person. Such a person is incapable of doing bad, and always incapable. It's gone beyond good and evil. Actually, it's quite an interesting thing. But we see here now for one who has undertaken the training, which I hope you're all doing, you will reach a point where we start seeing things as they really are. So in here, he's talking about seeing is directly known Earth as Earth. So he or she doesn't take Earth as Earth, doesn't form a perversion of perception. He sees exactly what it is. So when it comes to this talking about the elements, it's sort of you see how you are made up of the same stuff as everything else, so you don't try to divide it as mine and divide it as somebody else's and so on and so forth. It's you see the being part of everything, and don't form wrong perceptions or don't form conceit based on these things. And likewise, he directly knows water as water. He directly knows all as all. And finally, on to so it goes through all the different sort of categories that we did previously, and in this translation is shortened down and get to he knows Nibbana as Nibbana. Having directly known Nibbana as Nibbana, he should not conceive himself as Nibbana. He should not conceive himself in Nibbana. He should not conceive himself apart from Nibbana. He should not conceive Nibbana to be mine. He should not delight in Nibbana. Why is that? Because he must fully understand it, I say. So here he's talking about a Sekapudgala has directly known Nibbana. So here, such a person has gained a glimpse of enlightenment, even just for a few moments. So we say that one of the factors for Sotapatti is that they gain a glimpse of it. That what are called the asavas, which you will learn about in the next sutta, are cut off, and they finally see the unconditioned, and they are no longer even at the very subtle level influenced by the defilements. Therefore, they understand what is nibbana. So such a person will not conceive himself in nibbana, so wouldn't sort of go around talking about how enlightened one is, and I'm so enlightened, so you should all bow down to me, I'm the greatest, and all of that stuff wouldn't happen with such a person. um, it's like because such a person is doesn't form false views, doesn't fall false conceit based on these concepts, because they have gone beyond concepts and understood reality. And the next verse 51 is going on to an arahant. Bhikkhus, a bhikkhu who is an arahant, with taints destroyed, who has lived the holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached his own goal, destroyed the fetters of being, and is completely liberated through final knowledge. So that's sort of the standard description of an arahant. So who has lived the holy life. So we say the holy life, or the life of a monk, is meant to be in the pursuit of nibbana. So one who is an arahant is someone who has done what has to be done, has done the job, you know and there is nothing more to do. So until you become an arahant, which is a very difficult task, you still got work to do. And this is the entire point of the Sangha, as a place where one can go and dedicate oneself to it. And this is what the discipline of the training, and all the meditation and all the time and all the renunciation is meant for, to achieve this goal. And The what we are really grateful for is having a lay community to help us do this, and also to help the lay community do the same, to take on the training and go as far as possible. He too directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, he does not conceive himself as earth. He does not conceive himself in earth. He does not conceive himself apart from earth. He does not conceive earth to be mind. He does not delight in earth. Why is that? Because he has fully understood it, I say. Fully understood it. When ignorance has been abolished by the attainment of full understanding, the subtlest dispositions to craving and conceit are eradicated. Thus, the Arahant can no longer engage in conceiving and delight. So, think about how difficult that is. Like, when we meditate, sort of the first things we realize is, really, first thing I realized was how terrible I really am. So, I was telling myself a story all my life, how good I am, how nice I am. But then I slowly started realizing that a lot of thoughts I have are influenced by greed and hatred and delusion. And an arahant is someone who has taken away even the subtlest disposition of these things, totally free from these things. And it can seem for someone like you're just this one person looking at this entire huge mountain of defilements, and all you have is this tiny pickaxe. But don't worry, the Dhamma is like dynamite, it can blast this away. And if you keep working and keep training, it is possible to reduce this down to nothing. And an Arahant is a proof of that. And that's why Arahants are so rare, because it's such a hard job to do. But the fact that they're here means that it is possible, that if we have, as human beings, we have a power to do this, the power to abolish ignorance, because it is ignorance that is the root of all conceit and all craving. And when you see something as it really is, without any conceptions that we have right now, without any other predispositions, the prejudices, the perceptions, none of them, to see it exactly, see something exactly as it is. That is the entire point of meditation when we practice vipassana. We're trying to take away the conditioning, just peel it away layer by layer, every breath, every second, every time we sit down or we walk or we are mindful of what we are doing. What we are trying to do is peel back these stories, this prapancha, these proliferations that we built up around bare reality, that is really blinding us, that is really chaining us down and keeping us groveling at each other, and just keeping us so far away from our true potential as human beings. And the point in meditation is, in order to overcome these things, in order to slowly peel away and just see something as it exactly is, to peel away ignorance. Basically, the system of training is so that we no longer need training. That's an arahant. And likewise, a bhikkhu who is an arahant, completely liberated through final knowledge, he too directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, he does not conceive himself as earth. He does not conceive himself in earth. He does not conceive himself apart from earth. He does not conceive earth to be mind. He does not delight in earth. Why is that? Because he is free from lust through the destruction of lust. He too directly knows water as water, nibbana as nibbana. Why is that? Because he is free from lust through the destruction of lust. So here it is showing that an arahant has actually destroyed lust, and that is completely free from an arahant. And that is quite a difficult thing for us to understand because we are so steeped in it. And for some, it may even seem undesirable. But again, that is because we are standing in this position and looking around, and all we know is where we are, and all we know is what we've known. But it does not necessarily mean it is the right thing. So An arahant is beyond all these views, completely free. And on to the 99th verse. Bhikkhus. A bhikkhu who is an arahant, completely liberated through final knowledge. He too directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, he does not conceive himself as earth. He does not conceive himself in earth. He does not conceive himself apart from earth. Why? He does not conceive earth to be mine. He does not delight in earth. Why is that? Because he is free from hate through the destruction of hate. He too directly knows water as water, nibbana as nibbana. Why is that? Because he is free from hate through the destruction of hate. The destruction of hate. So an arahant is completely free from hate, does not hate anything. That is, again, very difficult to imagine. But it sounds so nice, no? Imagine not having to hate anyone or anything. That is how an arahant behaves, how an arahant is, how an arahant thinks. What an arahant is a being that is devoid of hate. Wouldn't it be so wonderful to have more people like that in this world? And that is the point of the Buddha's path. Everything we do, all the sacrifices we make is in order for that. So as a member of the Sangha, that is the entire point of our existence as well, to be free from hate. And it just makes the world a better place, no? It makes our own lives better, and it just, this is what the world needs, really. Bhikkhus, a bhikkhu who is an arahant, completely liberated through final knowledge. He too directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, he does not conceive himself as earth. He does not conceive himself in earth. He does not conceive himself apart from earth. He does not conceive earth to be mine. He does not delight in earth. Why is that? Because he is free from delusion through the destruction of delusion. He too directly knows water as water, nibbana as nibbana. Why is that? Because he is free from delusion through the destruction of delusion. The destruction of delusion. Delusion is the root cause of hatred and greed. Think about how difficult it is to be free from delusion. In our meditation, we see how much there's sometimes a fog, and there is always sort of, we are looking at something through a screen, through a filtered glass. And this is the filter of delusion, of seeing avidya. And the entire point when we in our meditative journey is in order to pierce through this screen. And now the next description is regarding the Tathagata. A Tathagata is a Buddha, is someone who has first attained Nibbana. So bhikkhus, the Tathagata, too, accomplished and fully enlightened, directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, he does not conceive himself as earth. He does not conceive himself in earth. He does not conceive himself apart from earth. He does not conceive earth to be mine. He does not delight in earth. Why is that? Because the Tathagata has fully understood it to the end, I say. He too directly knows water as water, nibbana as nibbana. Why is that? Because the Tathagata has fully understood it to the end, I say. So the footnote for Tathagata. On this word, the epithet to the Buddha uses most often when referring to himself. The commentaries give a long, detailed etymology into which they try to compress virtually the entire Dhamma. The passage is a bit of a technical note, but the Tathagata is usually used as a description for the Buddha. Pariyantham Parinyatham Tathagatas. Fully understood to the conclusion, fully understood the limit, fully understood without remainder. It explains that while Buddhas and disciple Arahants are alike in abandoning all defilements, there is a distinction in their range of full understanding. Whereas disciples can attain Nibbana after comprehending with insight only a limited number of formations. The Buddhas fully understand all formations without exception. So that's the knowledge of a Buddha is so comprehensive. A Buddha, Lord, a Buddha understands the full spectrum of things in order to reach enlightenment. Even if we gain enlightenment and become an arahant, we would only be able to understand the path we took and be able to teach others according to the path we took. But a Buddha can understand all paths to enlightenment. So it has a very comprehensive understanding of nature, a comprehensive understanding of the Dhamma, every detail of it, because they work very hard to get there. Well, it takes a lot of work, but it is possible for all of you as well. Like you can, in the Theravada tradition, we say if you make the determination to be a Buddha in the future life and you work towards it, you can do it. But it's, I'm a bit too lazy for that level of commitment. I would like to have enlightenment in this life. But it seems very hard, but much easier than being a Buddha. But if you want to do it, there's a great service. Bhikkhus, the Tathagata too, accomplished and fully enlightened, directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, he does not conceive himself as earth. He does not conceive himself in earth. He does not conceive himself apart from earth. He does not conceive earth to be mind. He does not delight in earth. Why is that? Because he has understood that delight is the root of suffering, and that being as conditioned there is birth, and therefore whatever has come to be, there is aging and death. Therefore, bhikkhus, through the complete destruction, fading away, cessation, giving up, and relinquishment of cravings, the Tathagata has awakened to supreme and full enlightenment, I say. That's a little bit on the paticca samuppada, on the conditioning. Oh, yeah, this is what the footnotes are describing. This sentence gives a highly compressed statement of the formula of dependent origination, paticca samuppada, usually expounded in 12 factors, as interpreted by the Maha Attakatha, the commentaries. Delight is the craving of the previous life that brought into end the suffering of the five aggregates in the present life, being the karmically determinative aspect of the present life that causes future birth, followed by future aging and death. This passage shows the cause for the Buddha's elimination of conceiving to be his penetration of dependent origination on the night of his enlightenment. The mention of delight, Nandi, as the root of suffering links up with Sutta's title, moreover, by referring to the earlier statement that the ordinary person delights in earth. It shows suffering to be the ultimate consequence of delight. So basically wanting to be and the production of karma. He too directly knows water as water, nibbana as nibbana. Why is that? Because he has understood that delight is the root of suffering, and that with being as condition there is birth, and that for whatever has come to be there is aging and death. Therefore, bhikkhus, through the complete destruction, fading away, cessation, giving up, and relinquishment of cravings, the Tathagata has awakened to supreme full enlightenment, I say. That is what the Blessed One said. But those bhikkhus did not delight in the Buddha, in the Blessed One's words. That's really quite funny if you read a lot of suttas, because nearly every sutta, actually, I think every other sutta ends with the bhikkhus being delighted by the Buddha's words. But this one, apparently, the bhikkhus were not happy to hear this. So let's read the bhikkhus did not delight in the Buddha's words, apparently because the discourse probed too deeply into the tender regions of their own conceit, and perhaps their residual Brahmanic views. At a later time, the commentaries tell us, when their pride had been humbled, the Buddha expounded to the same Buddha bhikkhus the Gautamaka Sutta, in the course of which they all attained arhatship. So you see, like, even when the Lord Buddha was teaching them something, because it was attacking their pride and their conceit, they didn't like it. They hated hearing it. But the Buddha, he doesn't. He's so honest. This is what is so great about the Dhamma. He's so honest in his expoundation. He's not teaching so that he can get a lot of disciples or that he can, have a big institution or something like this. He's teaching in order to help. And sometimes you have to say the bitter truths. Sometimes you have to say something people may not like. But if it is the right time and right place, and the Buddha knows the right time and right place, and he said it, and it really attacked their Brahmanic viewpoints. And you can see going through the lines of every verse that they all sort of hit something deep, and if you they can attack what you conceive as truth already, what you hold so dear. But it is really only truth that can set us free. It's only when we understand reality, when only we see the truth, can we really be free. Because until then, we are chained by ignorance. And that's why the Lord Buddha only ever speaks the truth. And sometimes people may not like it, but so be it. In the end, maybe it will help. So somewhere it will register. And this is really a good lesson for all of us, the importance of bitter truths. Um, so we are running out of time now, and we have finally finished the first sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, the Mula Pariyaya Sutta. And next week, we will start with the second sutta, which is a very important sutta called the Sabbhasava Sutta. It is regarding all the taints. And I hope that you all enjoyed learning about this sutta. And please return to it again and again, because it is a very important and deep sutta that should not be misunderstood. And let's not try to be like these bhikkhus who are not delighted by it. Let's try and find delight in the truth. And I hope you all get to that point, and I hope I do as well. And with that, let's end this discussion, this reading, and I hope you come for our chanting and meditation. And have a good day. Thank you.